Hello, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Scribhosphere. Yes, we are back here today, and oh boy, I've got a long video for you to come back to. I have been gone away for a while, but don't worry about it, I am back. It's going to be a little bit sporadic for the time being, but we'll get back into the routine. But anyway, you know, there are spoilers ahead for the MCU. That is the only thing I'm going to give you. Let's get right to it. So, for today's video, I am going to be picking my favourite Funko Pops from the MCU line of pops. So, I'm going to be picking a pop per film. Just discussing why it is one of my favourites. And even if there is any pops in that line, I know there's 2 films at least that don't have pops specifically to those. But I'm also doing the TV shows as well. I have picked this sort of idea off of another YouTuber. So it's not an original idea. But anyway, let's get right to it. So of course we do start with Iron Man. And the 2008 Iron Man film, well, you know, it kicked off the MCU. So how do you pick a Funko Pop? Well, there is only one Funko Pop currently available. Unfortunately, I'm not one of the ones who owns it, but it is the Mark I suit, the suit that he uses to get out of the cave. This was part of the Marvel Studios 10 years line that came out, and it was also a Comic Con event, like a comic convention exclusive, so you couldn't get it anywhere else. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get it at the time.
No, not really, but when do I ever get what I want?
So now we have Iron Man 2. Now this is where I depicted that there was 2 Funko Pops. Of course, you had the Whiplash versus Iron Man movie moment. That is a really good pop and not one I have in the collection. But I had to go with the Iron Man 2 Deluxe Iron Man with Gantry. This one is one of my favourite pops of all time. It's one that I got quite recently. Now I'm not going to be getting every single pop out for you because that would take me ages just to find those particular pops. But for me, personally, Iron Man 2, you've only got the 2. This one's a PX Previews exclusive, and it also glows in the dark. This one for me is one of my favourite pops that I actually own, and I'm quite happy to own this one. So yeah, there's not much more to do. So next up, of course, is the Mighty Thor. Well, just Thor, of course. This is one of those films in the MCU, especially Phase 1, where it's a little bit weaker than the rest. Probably the weakest of Phase 1, personally, because I really do enjoy The Incredible Hulk. However, I do think that this film is just slightly better. Is Incredible Hulk. But for this one, I deliberated which one to go for. I looked at the Thors, looked at the Lokis. There wasn't that many in this line. However, I did go with a later release, and that is the diecast Thor. And to me, personally, this is just the best one of the lot. I do think the Lokis just look a little bit janky, like in comparison to some of the later ones. So I do feel like that is the best one out of the 4 ones that I could have picked. Like I say, I looked through all these. It's not like I've just gone, oh well, I've seen that one now, I'll use that one, or anything like that. It's literally just picking and choosing, and in this instance, the diecast Thor is the best one for Thor. Next we have Captain America, the First Avenger, and there are a few. You know, there's the Amazon exclusive Year of the Shield one, where he's like, you know, pre-serum, and he's got the shield, it's the bin lid. Recently I went with a bit of a classic Captain America look with the sort of different shield. You know, I think this was also one of the ones that they may have released later on down the line. I can't remember this releasing around the time of the film. So next up, and this one is one of the ones that actually was the first one for me to actually deliberate which one I put on this list. And like, you know, you had the Loki with the Spectre, which was one that I sought after for a very long time. You may see it behind me right now. This bad boy here. That one there. Where is it? That one. Right there in the corner. Glow in the dark. That was one I actually picked up at Con. I was, I really thought about putting that one in there. And then you had the one from Avengers Endgame where he's got the mask around his mouth. And I started thinking, which one really depicts a good character? And it's actually from the Avengers Assemble line. So it's the ones where they connect together. I actually went with the Hulk. This was an Amazon exclusive. The Deluxe. And they all come together as the Avengers Assemble. This one, for me, just depicts the Hulk better than the original Hulk that we had for this line of pops. So when you look at the original line of pops that were released, that are very basic, I think this one just depicts the Hulk much better. And that's why I picked this one. Moving on now to, of course, Phase 2. And, Phase 2 started out, with Iron Man 3. If you're wondering where it is that I'm getting these timelines from, I am getting it all online. I'm not taking it from my mind. So if there are any films that are a little bit, that you could easily swap with, please let me know. But anyway, Iron Man 3, quite a few pops from this line of, waves. There's a couple of waves of these pops. But this one for me was the best one. And it's the unmasked Tony Stark. From Iron Man 3 in his suit. For me personally, it's just a little bit more fresh than the usual Iron Mans you get, and that's the reason why I picked that one. Not much to explain about this one. This film is a divisive one. I am actually one of those ones who defends the hell out of Iron Man 3. For me personally, Iron Man 3 is one of the best films out there. In the contents of a superhero movie, it's probably nothing like what it should be. But Iron Man 3, it's all about the man behind the suit. And next up we have Thor: The Dark World, which, again, I do like to defend this one a little bit, but I get why people don't like it all that much. I've gone a bit simpler with these ones. These ones are, again, you look at the Malekith Funko Pop, and this one, that Funko Pop just do not look good. I mean, that's the one instance where the character is actually better in the movie than it is in any other film. But yeah, Thor: The Dark World, gone with Loki. It's the best pop in the line. There's no other ones I could think of from the Dark World personally that could be this one. This is the one where he's got the long hair sort of slipped back. He's got the knife in his hand. I like the detailing on the suit that he's wearing, or the the robe or the jacket or whatever the jumpsuit type thing that they wear. And Captain America: The Winter Soldier for me was an easy pick, simply because some of the other ones just again are a little bit simple in this line. So this is the Year of the Shield, Amazon exclusive. Special edition Winter Soldier. This one I really want for my collection. He's got the cap shield in his hand, Bucky with the mask on. I just love this pop, and I just wish I had it in my collection. This is actually probably one of my favourite pops. Next up we have Guardians of the Galaxy, and again this was one that I deliberated on because there were a few characters in that first Guardians movie that I really like the pops of. But for me, it had to be Groot in the pot. The dancing Groot is just so cute. We've had so many Groots. I haven't got a single one, I'll tell you now. And do I plan to collect them all? No, I have a couple of Deadpools. That's probably the one line where I've got too many Deadpools. I've got like 5 Deadpools at this point. One of which is just a head. But another story for another day. But for me, personally, the Dancing Groot is better than any of the other ones in the line, and that's why I went with it. It's also what I really want in the collection. So then we moved on to Age of Ultron. And Age of Ultron was a funny one because there was some issues with it. But don't get me wrong, I absolutely love Age of Ultron. I think the story, it's not as good as the first Avengers, but it has character, and the character I've gone for is a 10-inch pop. So this is the first 10-inch pop on this list. Iron Man Mark 43 glow in the dark 10-inch exclusive. This is the one that I think it just depicts Iron Man. Again, you know, I say a lot about the depictions, right? But for me, this feels like Iron Man. I do have the regular version of this. Again, it's another one. It's the right ear. Yeah. So I do have the normal size one. Don't think that glows in the dark. Does that glow? Do you glow in the dark? No, you just don't glow in the dark. But this one for me just screams brilliant. I mean, I have got Ultron up there as well. That's one that I really wanted to put up there and started to think. But again, it's very basic, and that's the reason why. Going for something just a little bit more interesting to look at and a little bit more exciting. Next up, one that actually really does look exciting and I really want to get in my collection from the Ant-Man movie is Ant-Man and Anthony. Yeah, this one, again, you know, there's not a lot to talk about with this one. You know, it's basically a normal Ant-Man. It's basically this guy, pretty much. He doesn't wobble because his head was dodgy, and it was either the option of ripping off the head or just making his head stable. So that's why he's not wobbling like the rest of them, the rest of the Marvel ones. But for me, you know, this one is literally just this with Anthony, and it doesn't scream a lot. All the differences is like his arms are lifted up so that it looks like he's riding Anthony, but not in that way. But you know, there's just not much more to it. So, you know, I'm not going to even bother putting back Ant-Man because he's so far away on the windowsill that I am just putting him under the camera. You can look after the camera for the time in. But yeah, I just love this pop, you know. There was the Yellow Jacket was also considered to go in the best pop from Ant-Man. However, again, because I haven't got it, it's sort of, you know, I'm not trying to just choose ones that I've got in the collection because, of course, that's boring, you know. But majority of the ones I've actually picked are ones that I want for the collection that I haven't got. Next up is Civil War. Again, so many, and yeah, I was going to choose one of the ones that are recently coming out, which are Amazon exclusives, which are very similar to the Avengers Assemble set. But for me, I didn't want to go with that down that route, so instead I went for the Crossbones Unmasked. I love the character of Crossbones, you know, from comic books and cartoons. This character is enjoyable, and you know they didn't do anything basically with the character in these Marvel movies, and it's a shame because I do feel like he's, you know, yeah, he's very much like a Taskmaster in the sense that he pops up every now and then, but instead they decided to kill him off. But I just think that this unmasked version, there's so much detail in it, like, you know, even with the eye. They got like one of his eyelids sort of like, you know, off shut around the eyeball, and I just think that's such good detail. So that's why this guy is on the Civil War set. So next up is Doctor Strange, and again another villainous character on this list, and that is Caecilius. Caecilius again is purely down to detail, just like with the Crossbones Funko Pop from the last film. For me, Caecilius is a character that, again, it just doesn't feel like, you know, he's just one of those throwaway characters that dies and then you never see him again. You know, we're never going to see this character again in the MCU. You know, I just can't imagine them bringing him back for like Secret Wars. Is that really something they're going to do? No, of course not. So Caecilius, again, just down to detail, the details with the eyes and the like symbol for the dark magic is absolutely fantastic, and that's why I've chosen. Next up is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. This one, you know what? I'm not going to even explain why I've chosen this one. I'll just let the clip. I'll let the clip explain exactly why I've chosen this one.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all!
See? I'm Mary Poppins, y'all! I just love that scene. So yeah, that's the only reason why I picked this one. It's because the scene's purely, you know, brilliant. I really enjoy Volume 2 of Guardians of the Galaxy. Slightly more than the first. I didn't really think that I was going to enjoy Guardians of the Galaxy all that much, and I ended up loving it. And I was just, for me personally, I pick Volume 2 over Volume 1, just slightly. But I know that's going to probably get me a lot of hate because, hot take film, which is Spider-Man: Homecoming. I love these three films. The three films, when I say three films, I mean the Spider-Man films. I love them. And as you can see above here, I've got Toby over there, Andrew there, and obviously Tom Holland's there. There's a Mysterio there as well, and Mask. But I love the Spider-Man films. The only bad one I could say is Spider-Man 3. Amazing Spider-Man 2 is better than Spider-Man 3, folks. Enough said. But anyway, the one I've picked for Homecoming is one again that I didn't even realise was one that was even out, you know. And I've been keeping an eye on Spider-Man Pops for quite some time now. But Homecoming's, this Spider-Man is upside down. And he's reading a chemistry book. Chemistry book? Yep, chemistry book, got a pencil. He's upside down. I think it just again, drink every time I say depiction, but for me, it just depicts. It just depicts. I can't even say that anymore. It's the perfect version of Spider-Man, basically. It looks like Spider-Man. That is the best way to put it. No more with the depiction. Anyway, moving on. And Thor Ragnarok. What a film. What a film. And I believe that this order is completely all over the place at this point. But Thor Ragnarok is a brilliant film. And they do so much with the character of Thor. Like the last two Thor films, while not bad, weren't good. You know? They're good. No. They are good films, but they're not perfect. You know? Ragnarok for me is a great Thor film. So when picking the right pop from this, there was so many to pick from. But I really love the black light 10-inch Hulk, and I actually do own that. It's above me again, next to Grogu, because I don't have any room for it anywhere else. But for me, and you know, this was only available at Target in America, but it was at Asda. And I got this for a steal of a price for a 10-inch Funko Pop. For me, I just think I'm saying it again, but for me, it just looks like the Hulk. It looks like a character straight from the comic books. The blue goes really well with the green and the purple. So I just feel like this is just 100% the best pop of the Hulk. Including the Avengers Assemble one, this is the best one. So that's why I've gone with Ragnarok, Thor Ragnarok, why I've gone with the Hulk, rather than going with Thor or a Loki or a Grandmaster or a, you know, Ella, which was close as well. I almost did put Ella, but again, the bias of owning this one and seeing it in person does change my mind. We have Black Panther. I do believe this one was early on in Phase 3 of the MCU. So the timeline that I've looked up is probably wrong. So, but ayo, we're here now. Black Panther. I haven't actually got any of the Black Panther pops from the original film, from the first film. Of course, there's only one that I could have gone for, and that is the T'Challa, the Black Panther Unmasked for me. This is one that I do want in the collection eventually. You know, at this point in Funko's line of pops up to this film, like, I don't know, I don't know, but looking at it on screen on my laptop right now, just screams T'Challa. No, it's not me saying it depicts T'Challa very well, but for me it just screams T'Challa, and it just screams Black Panther, and that's the reason why this one is going in a Black Panther. So there's no ways around it. Black Panther for Black Panther. How do you choose anything else? So next up we have Infinity War again. Infinity War was absolutely bombarded with Funko Pops when it came out. And still to this day there are ones that are being released. And maybe me, I still pick them up. Same with Endgame. Endgame gets a lot. Actually, I think like the Infinity War ones are like Iron Spider, which I think came out more recently. But this one is a movie moment. And for me, probably one of the best movie moments, but it's the moment where Thor goes to kill Thanos and he's like, you should have gone for the head. And he snaps. Obviously this is pre-snap. But for me this just, again, it's ripped straight from the movie. And it's you know, it's almost perfect. Why do I say it's almost perfect? No reason, actually. There's no reason. The only thing I'd say, and it's just looking at the glam shot, I'm not looking at like physical pictures online or pictures that people have taken, but in box, this is quite a boring pop to look at. Out of box, it's more interesting. This is probably one of those ones that, again, I do want. There was this and the Cap versus Thanos, you know, where he's holding his hand. I mean, it's like, well, that one was almost in my list. And I almost decided to put both and cheated a little bit. But in the end, this one just screamed at me. So that's why that is. Next up, we have Ant-Man and the Wasp. And the first chase on this as well. Can't believe it's taken this many movies to find a chase on this list. Just like real life. Finding chases. But yeah, it is a chase, and it is the Wasp chase unmasked. There's nothing really all that exciting about it, but I really do love the fact that every time they bring out a Wasp, that it does look like Evangeline Lilly. Like, this literally look like it's basic with the eyes and the eyebrows and the nose and the hair and no mouth. Yet it really reminds me of Evangeline Lilly. It's not a bad thing. But, you know, it's just that, but, you know, yeah, I do like this one. I do believe there was another one on my list. For some reason, I'm thinking I'll put the wrong picture on this list. Because I thought it was the Blacklight version, which, again, somewhere behind these Marvel Pops is that Blacklight version, and I thought that's the one I picked. Moving on, we have Captain Marvel. This one, again, is just simply... I'm not gonna talk much about it because I'm not really all that interested in it. Captain Marvel, yeah, like I say, it's just not a movie that I enjoyed. So unfortunately, this one I'm not going to talk about much. It's just a Walmart exclusive, glow in the dark. And I say Walmart is because in the glam shots, they're the ones that originate from. Obviously, we don't have Walmart here in the UK, so that's why I'm saying Walmart when I'm looking at it on screen, but that is not what I'm, you know, that's not where it's from. Yeah. But yeah, I'm not saying much about this. It's an interesting looking pop. It's one that maybe I would get in a collection later on, just to be a completionist, have one from each film. But you know, it was either that one or Nick Fury. I went with that one. Endgame. Endgame, again, another tough one. Right, if I were to go behind me and just pick this one, this was one of the ones I was going to choose. I recently got the unmasked version. The unmasked version is actually right behind me that you can't see. There's the... Where's my finger? There it is. That's the unmasked one. That one I got recently. You know, I wasn't even expecting it. I didn't even realise it was out yet. It was found in a store that I never really normally shop at or really pick up pops from. So, you know, I almost went with this guy. But I went for one that... This is one of those instances where I will pick up the one that I've picked simply because it's right next to me. And that is, of course, the Iron Man snapping moment. This is a glow-in-the-dark. Again, special edition. Just shows some of the glam shots. I picked the American versions over the UK ones. But was that a good idea? I think he's trying to say no, but I don't know. But yeah, I mean, why is it out of box, you might ask? I can't remember. This may have been one of those ones that I picked up and the weather was bad and the box was damaged, so I had to take them out of the box. That's probably the only reason. I mean, half of them is because I had all the collection and I wasn't going to collect as many as I've got now, which is almost 300. We're getting there almost, but you know. But yeah, that one is the one that I've picked, and simply as, don't worry, I'm pointing at it because there's going to be a picture here, and I'm saying that, and you can already see it. But yeah, that's the reason why I've simply picked this one. Is, you know, it's the big moment of the movie. Another one that I really considered, because this is like my endgame section right here. Well, it's sort of an Avengers section, but there's this guy here, which is, I'm going to show up on the screen, which is obviously Captain America with the shield and the hammer. I just, you know, it was very close with that one, but for me, this one, because of the moment it brings and the heaviness, this is the reason why this one is better than that one. Next up, Far From Home, and again, one that you've actually already seen and I've talked about in this video. But for Far From Home, it is the Unmasked Mysterio. Again, I think this is this and the Ned and MJ. I think I've got a Ned and MJ as well. And from Far From Home, but I don't have a Spider-Man, surprisingly enough. But I do have this one in the collection. This is the Mysterio Unmasked. I do think the Unmasked one's better. Yeah, I think the masked one is going for a little bit more money. I do believe mine is glow in the dark. Where is it? Where are you? Oh, actually, I've got the MCM 2019 limited edition sticker on it. In the glam shot, just a special edition. So I've actually got probably one of the more official ones, or one of the ones that they released at like Walmart or Target or something like that. But for me, this one is the best one out of this set. So next up we have WandaVision, the first of the TV shows, and again, biased on the fact that I already own this one, so it's probably the reason why this one is in the collection, or on this list, shall I say, and that is the White Vision, or just the Vision. I hate the fact that it's just called the Vision. Give him another name. Give him a, I don't know, like a Century Vision or something along those lines. But just the Vision instead of Vision. I don't know what that means. But again, I love this pop. And again, it's in my collection. I don't have the diamond version, which I know some people do. But yeah, I love that pop. That one's... Next up, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. TV show disappointed me a little bit. Just felt a bit lackluster in comparison to some of the other TV shows we've got, especially Loki. But for me, Falcon and Winter Soldier is the simple, like, you know, Captain America, Sam Wilson's Captain America, in his, what I personally believe is an amazing suit. I think it looks really well with the white, the red and the blue, but I've seen in like the way it is, and like with the wings and the shield and the way it comes down and that. For me, this is the best in the Winter Soldier, the Falcon and Winter Soldier line of Funko Pops. And it is the only one I own of the Falcon and Winter Soldier ones. I do want a Bucky. I haven't got a single Bucky Funko Pop, so I do want as many of those as possible. Like, maybe just have the one with the shield from Winter Soldier, and the one current with the shorter hair from the Falcon and Winter Soldier TV show. But every time I come across it, I've just left it. Never brought it. I wish I had. To Loki now. And this one sort of cheats in a sense, but also not. It's not actually a character in the show, per se. He was in the show, but for a split second. And then, of course, it is the Throg of Thunder. You know? I just personally love the fact that they made a Funko Pop of this, and the fact that I haven't got it, and the fact that I've seen it so many times and never picked it up. Think, McFly, think! So, you know, it's just, it is, for me personally, the best one of the Loki set. Next up, a film that, honestly, I didn't even realise they did have Funko Pops for, because it's not a great film, and that's Black Widow. You know, better than Eternals. Anyone who thinks Black Widow's worse than Eternals, off. Sorry, but off. For me, Red Guardian is the only Funko Pop in that line that really interests me. The Yelenas were quite interesting, but again, they're just boring. They're people pops. I mean, yeah, you could argue if this is a person pop, but he's got a bloody suit on that makes him more interesting. You know? So, but yeah, Red Guardian, I like the detail of it. I like that there's some scratches on the mask just to make it look a bit older. For me personally, best Funko Pop in Black Widow. So next up we had What If, and again, we're back to the 10 inches for a little bit. For me, What If was really enjoyable, but there were some select episodes. Like, I've rewatched some of What If, but not all of it. Like, I've rewatched the Doctor Strange episode, which I really, really love. The one with Captain Carter is interesting, and I still watch that. But then you got the ones with like and the one where like Hank Pym kills everybody because his daughter's dead. You know, that one's really interesting as well because it shows how different things are. Which again, it's the whole premise of the show, but whatever. But for me personally, one of the best episodes, I think the best episode for most people was the zombie what if for zombies, basically. Again, I think it was what if Hulk came to Earth and there was a zombie apocalypse or something like that. I think that was the title. I don't think it was just what if zombies. You know what I mean? But, you know, this was probably one of the more interesting episodes. So I've gone with the 10-inch Captain America, the zombie Captain America. Again, it's just one that I really love. I love looking at. And, yeah. I really enjoy this Funko Pop and I really enjoyed this episode of the series. So next up, we are on Shang-Chi. And for me, again, like, I don't know. I love the film. I actually do really enjoy the film. I've watched it like 4 times since it's released. And that's not including the first time I watched it, so probably about 5 times now. But there is still, every time I've watched it, I've still felt a little bit underwhelmed by the end of it. Except for one scene. And that is the scene with the Great Protector. For me, this is the only pop in the line that's even interesting to look at. The rest of them were really boring. You could have done so much with the 10 rings. Like being on his arms and that. And they didn't do anything with it. Even the exclusive of them look like shit. Again, another one that I'm not going to talk about it much. Eternals. They made so many Funko Pops for them. I get that there's loads of characters in it. But who's going to painstakingly buy every single one of those? Not me. Certainly not me. So, Eternals. Not a great film. Not a great line of Funko Pops, to be honest with you. Irisham. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Irisham. I don't know what it is. Best pop in the line. It looks interesting. I think it's a 10-inch as well. Yeah, this is a 10-inch one as well. I'm just not interested. Next up, we got Hawkeye. Again, another show that was underwhelming. Enjoyed it through and through, but again, it just felt a little bit underwhelming. The only one I've actually chosen from this set is the Blacklight Kate Bishop with the dog. The dog's name not coming to me right now, so it might be at the bottom somewhere around here. But yeah, this is the only one. It's the only one I could think of from Hawkeye that realistically is the best pop in the whole set. So yeah. Anyway, coming up to probably one of my favourites of the MCU at the moment. I've watched this so many times, including the extended version. I love this film. Of course, No Way Home. Spider-Man No Way Home. We are finally there. All of these Funko Pops. Which one of you have I got on this list? For me personally, I picked the MJ with box. I know, this might shock you, but that one to me is complete and utter shit. I am kidding. Of course I am kidding. Do you really think I would put that above any of these bad boys?
Language.
No. Did I get you there? I got myself for a second. No, of course not. I don't actually find that one shit. I've still got it in the collection. Because I'm a bit of a completionist when it comes to the Spider-Man movies. Well, when it comes to No Way Home. But anyway, I have chose the unmasked, battle-damaged Spider-Man. The Tom Holland Spider-Man. For me, again, ripped straight out of the film. And yeah, I have got it. It's up here somewhere. It's just above where you can see. But a brilliant pop. One that I really feared I would not get. The Funko.com sticker. Have I got a better one? No, it's the same sticker. But yeah, this is just this film. These pops. Oh my god, it took me so long to choose which pop. But for me, this one is the best one of the set. I was going to put the 8-pack, and I felt like that was just a little cheat. Because then you got the majority of the characters. But it just doesn't have my favourite depiction. I love the new suit pop as well. That's one of my favourites in the whole wave. Like wave 2. But for me, this one is just the best one of the lot. Like, you know, at this point we've got like 10 left. So I might rush through a few of these. Again, Moon Knight was a good show and enjoyed it throughout. But again, felt underwhelming by the end of it. I also don't see Moon Knight fitting in with the rest of the MCU. But the only pop for me, like, I do enjoy the pops. I have a majority of the set. For me, Amit what? Amit. I don't know how to say it, like, pronunciation-wise, but for me, this is the best one. The detail on it is just amazing, and that's the reason why this one's in the set. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness in the Multiverse of Madness. I get so annoyed when people get it wrong, and I just got it wrong. Yeah, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, movie moment, Dead Strange versus Scarlet Witch. Which? Again, it is just the two commons put together, and with a little bit of a stand. But for me, it is the best of the set. There was so many to pick from this set. You know, you had the version of Wong, which I think is a bit boring in comparison. The She-Hulk Wong is better than this version of Wong. I believe this is the first movie Wong that we got. I think this is the first Wong that we got in the set, but I can't remember. But yeah, it's just I didn't really see all that much interest in the rest of the pops, to be honest with you. Like, some of the Doctor Stranges are interesting. I've got majority of them again. So, you know, me saying, oh, I don't really like all of them, but I've got them all. Crazy. But yeah, this one for me is just the best one. We're now on Miss Marvel, a show I really don't want to talk about because I didn't enjoy it at all. Maybe I'm too old for it. The only thing I enjoyed of Miss Marvel was the ending, because it intrigued me for what's to come. But yeah, simple as it's just the one with the fist. It's the Funko.com exclusive. Again, I don't have this one. I do have a Miss Marvel in my set, just to have a Miss Marvel, just so that I feel like, you know, again, it's the completionist in me, making sure I've got all. Thor: Love and Thunder, again, a very divisive movie, but I think it's a movie that also has better Funko Pops than it is a movie that's good. If you get what I mean, like, the Funko Pops are better than the actual movie itself. I have got every single Funko Pop from this line, bar one or two. This one being one of them. Of course, it is the goat boat, with the screaming goats. I'm not going to even attempt it. You know, I'm just going to go. And hopefully there is. If I forget to edit in the noises that I hope are there, that is going to be a weird moment for you guys. But yeah, I just don't think there's much else to talk about here. It's a brilliant pop. It's one I really enjoy. There wasn't any others in the set that I really wanted to go for in terms of putting on my list of favourite MCU ones. Okay, so we're now up to I Am Groot, and for me personally, there was only one that really screamed out at me. I enjoyed the show, but it didn't feel like, you know, one that was going to affect the you know, stories going forward, which is very different to the holiday special that we'll get to in a moment. But I Am Groot, Fancy Groot is the one I picked. For me, it's just the best looking one. It's cute. Next up, we got She-Hulk. She-Hulk was a show that I actually really enjoyed. And again, I've just gone a little bit simple. This is a 10-inch. Of course, it's the 10-inch of She-Hulk in the She-Hulk costume. That's all I've got to say. I did really enjoy this show and felt like people really missed out on what a good show it was. Like, but, you know, that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. So next up on the MCU joyride that we're on is Werewolf by Night. Werewolf by Night didn't even have any pops. So what can I put on here? I researched just in case there was any concepts like if anybody had done designs of what they would love to see from Funko in terms of this. Yeah, there was no Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Really good movie, had me in tears. I really enjoyed it more than the original, which is important for me. Like the original one didn't scream amazing, you know. I did love the fact that obviously it was the first true diversity that we've had in the MCU. It's just, why did it take so long, you know? But for me, the only one that I could pick off from the Wakanda Forever set of pops, which again has the same issue that the current waves of pops seem to have, and that is, but I have chosen Namor with Orca. You know, for some reason, I've got the glam shot on my laptop because I've done a slideshow type thing. For some reason, even though the Funko Pop does say Namor with Orca, I've just put with Orca in the corner. I don't need that. I know it's with Orca. I can see it's with Orca, whether it says it or not on the box. But yeah, it's the only one that I really enjoy from the set. There is a Shuri one in the ship. I don't really like that. There is one set of Funko Pops that are coming out soon that I do want to talk about in a mo. Well, not in a mo, but in my next video. I'll record it now. I'll record it in a minute, but yeah, that for me is the best of the Wakanda Forever set. So next up we have the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. I really enjoyed the Holiday Special, but I don't really enjoy the Funko Pops all that much. So again, something that I think is going to be a quick one. I wish they'd done a the characters come out of my head now with the fin, the one that's got the fin now in current time. Can't think of his name. You know, I know it's Sean Gunn, but I can't think of the bloody character's name. But anyway, I wish I'd brought out a pop where he's holding the present and holding the present smaller and holding the present smaller. I think that would have been a really good Funko Pop to try and do, because the detail on it could have been mad. But now they just went a bit simple with it, and it's just the only one that I think is because I picked this one because it's the one that I enjoy the most from the movie point of view, and it's Drax with the little man. Was it the little man he called it? I think he called it a little man. I think he did. But yeah, it's just Drax with the gnome ornament. Nothing much to it, but the most interesting one. Okay, so we do have only 2 left, and you know, both of these ones again, like, so the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 one is one that I'm picking based on the glam shots, not based on the actual visual ones, because I haven't seen any of them in store yet. We don't get them till we probably get them about a month before the movie comes out. So at this point of the recording, it's like, what, 2 months out before the movie comes out? So we haven't got those ones out yet. So for that one in particular, I'm getting ahead of myself. But for that one in particular, it's just looking at the glam shots. With this one, it's one that I only recently got. And that is Kang. I can't even remember what store I bought this from. But yeah, it's Kang. I had to get this one. This one's going to skyrocket in years to come, in my personal opinion. That's why I want to get the He Who Remains. To try and get all the Kangs from the MCU would be just... There's a lot. And there was a lot revealed at the end of this one. Spoilers. Don't worry, there will be a spoiler warning at the start of the video. But yeah, Kang. Obviously, Kang was always going to be the one I was going to pick from this wave. The MODOK, very simple and basic. Interesting to look at. But then you've got the maskless, not maskless, unmasked Wasp, and then the Ant-Man. They haven't come out with a Cassie Lang. There's Bill Murray's character that he's coming out with a pop. Who wants that? But bring out a Cassie Lang or an unmasked version of MODOK. Give us what we want, Funko. But not Krylar. I just thought of his name. Krylar? I think it is Krylar. But anyway, Bill Murray's character. We don't want that. We want Cassie. I want a 10-inch Cassie. For real. But anyway, moving on to the last Funko Pop of this video that we're going to be talking about today. And that is the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I only picked, there was two groups that I was debating between. There was the 6 arms, like the 8 arms, or the 10 arms, however many arms. I didn't count the arms. I'm not that bad. The only glam shots I'm going by the way. You already know that. But you know, you got the ones where it's shooting and all that. Like, that was a really interesting one, but I went with the wings. I just think it's interesting and it's floating and it's just cute as hell. I do think they've sort of gone down the Vin Diesel route with him. He's sort of a bit more like Vin Diesel now, in the muscles. Because he's been gaining weight, or whatever it is. Gaining weight gain. I don't know what the terms are anymore. But yeah, that is the last one on this list for the MCU movies. Yeah, that is it. That is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I've enjoyed doing this and I've enjoyed coming back. Hopefully I can be a little bit more frequent. For the time being, it is going to be a little bit all over the place until I sort of get a little bit more into the swing of things. But like I say, I am going to be doing Funko Pops, movie news, movie reviews. I'm going to be doing video games as well. The video game one is going to be one that I'll only do for more of the current games. You know, I'm getting through the Quarry at the moment, and I really wished I'd done that as a jumping off point for coming back to YouTube. But those videos don't do all that well. I think the Funko Pop ones do a lot better. But anyway, I've been Scribbo, this has been Scribbosphere, and I'll see you next time, folks, for the next video. Goodbye.